Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm hoping you can all see and hear me. I spent most of the time trying to remember what I've got to bring and what I haven't got to bring and load the car up, which we have just done. So we're getting ready to leave. Don't forget, sharing is caring, and most importantly, don't forget what we've got coming up this weekend. Right, so there it is. Let me see if I can pull it down on my screen. The English Constitution Society, the Jones Complex. The Constitution is the solution. The English Constitutional Convention Weekender. Spend 2 days by the English Sea in defence of liberty. The English Constitution Society believes the English Constitution offers an answer to today's problems. Join us to explore your inalienable and constitutional rights, what they are, why they matter, and how government overreach threatens to erode them. 2 days, one coast, one constitution, one call to defend the rights of free English men and women. So on Friday night, starting at 4:30, you've got special guest Mark Devlin, who's going to be talking about the music industry. Main speaker is Graham Moore on both events, although we'll probably get some other people up there. There is a questions and answers session on both days. Specifically, one is to do with politics, and there's going to be some serious discussions there on the way forward. And then that's on the Saturday, and then on Sunday it's the educational event where we will be concentrating on the English Constitution and slavery in particular, because I think it's really interesting that people, especially black people and brown people in this country, many of whom their ancestors and they owe the English working class a massive debt of gratitude. Because we were the ones who freed the slaves, and it was under English common law, and we were the ones who paid the debt to the Rothschilds, which stopped in 2015. And I think people need to understand the lengths to which we, as a group of people, and yet white people in this country are being literally slaughtered, not just by black people, but also by the British paramilitary police, and nothing's being done about it. 1,995, and with Henry Novak, that's 1,996. 1,427 of our British military, largely English, are being prosecuted by the British Crown Prosecution Service that only come into existence in 1985. And people need to understand that serving and veteran British troops are being prosecuted for war crimes. And when you consider that it is the British that are doing that to them, none of the suits as veterans, they will understand that none of the suits, none of the commissioned officers, etc., are being prosecuted. To my knowledge, it is only non-commissioned soldiers. So again, I think that's an absolute disgrace. I think it's about time the British Army and the Royal Navy and the RAF and others realised that their enemy are literally the Marxists that have took control of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. So there's going to be a few things I'm talking about. But on your screen, as we speak, is where we're going. So again, I just want to make sure everyone understands this. So I'm going to come off of that a second, go back to my main screen, carry on speaking, and just let you know there's a few things obviously happening today. I've seen plenty of videos, one of which I'm going to try and bring up now and just have a quick discussion. But it's really important that people do try and get to Mablethorpe on the Saturday and the Sunday in particular. If the English Constitution Party is on a Saturday, and then the English Constitution Society, which is non-political, to be fair, nor is the English Constitution Party. I mean, our manifesto is the English Constitution. It's not as what people would look at in terms of politics and bullshit manifestos. And this is what we're going to do. And I understand why people are so negative towards political parties, but we're not. We was brought into existence because of COVID, really. And I just want to make sure everyone gets that. Let me have a look and see. I'm just seeing some people come up there. Jules Ann's out there. Ace Jace, Keck Rangel. I know that there's people already arriving at Mablethorpe because they've rung me. They've gone into their accommodation, etc., and they're having a little chat with each other and getting involved. They've already made themselves known to Paddy. So again, people just now, all of my books, most of the books for it have been loaded into cart. Anyone who's done one of these before knows anything about it. I don't literally read from books. All I do is show you where it come from and open it up so you can see it. People come around and take photos of the books. There is a book going to be written in the same tone and application of the Constitution from George Custance, which is basically the Constitution from our point of view, not from the state's point of view, right? And that's the way the Constitution should be taught to the people. That's what Lord Denning did. That is what Sir William Wade did. That's what Lord Devlin did, and many others. And I'll be going through some of that with you as well. And it is the fact that it's been removed from the curriculum, which is wrong. And we have to find a way of putting it back. So good evening to everyone. Let me see if I can go and find what I wanted to show you. Now, I've seen some other bits tonight, as you could be aware, right? There's a particular piece that I wanted to show you. This was from Steve Laws, and I just want to show you some images. It was disgusting what the police have done at Southampton, but I do need for people to see this. If you haven't seen it or you haven't seen the pictures of it, I'm going to put it up. This was sent out by a number of different people, by the way, but I've picked up on the Steve Laws ones. And by the way, Steve Laws has muted me a long time ago because he actually is a unionist. But there you go. There it is. Urban Pictures is who it's from. I'm going to play this to you. Hopefully you can all hear it. I'm going to turn the sound up. Go.
They got one, they put him or someone down over there.
I'll see what he's doing, it lights on fire!
Oi, they're gonna fucking kill that geezer in a minute!
Right, I'm going to hold it there, right? They're now raising their shields, so you've got the edge of the shield smashing down on his body, and they did this numerous times on his neck, right? You all heard me talk the other day about something called point pressure. Now, point pressure is highly dangerous because you put a lot of force onto a particular point, any type of point, whether it be the road, whether it be someone's neck, whether it be a pressure point on someone's body, etc. You're putting a large amount of force into a tiny area, and if you've got a tiny bone behind that, like your neck and your spinal column, you are highly likely to break their neck and highly likely to kill them, right? Especially at the base of the head. What you'll also see from this, again, you're going to see this is the guy getting punched in the back of the head. Just to make sure you're aware, the gloves that they've got on, and I know this because, one, I've come across these people before myself, and second, because of what they did to Charlie Staples. That was a punch directly to the back of his head. Did you see what they actually did? Hit him in the back of the head. Now, most people who know anything about fighting, whether it be in the ring, whether it be martial arts, whatever it is, you are not allowed to hit people in the back of the head. Even rabbit punching someone in the back of the head is not allowed, right? Because it is highly dangerous. And if you want me to show you, I'd have to go back and find a video of him. But there was a guy years ago that got into a fight in a petrol garage, and a guy got a baseball bat out of his motor and smacked the geezer in the back of the head with a baseball bat. Not massively hard, but hard enough that the guy is literally massively brain damaged and literally just laying in bed dribbling. That he is completely cuckoo. Right, his brain is damaged that much, so it is very dangerous. Now I'm going to show you this part again. There they are with it. Look at them stabbing and smashing down their shields. Don't forget, on the back of them shields, we pay for, by the way, they are supposed to be for defensive reasons. Inside, you've got two holders, and they're using the whole of their force and their weight and their leg weight to smash down on one part. And you're seeing him being kneed in the head. I can't think of any legitimate reason to do what they're doing. None whatsoever. And again, people are saying that these paramilitaries. Now, I want you to look at the contrast of the Black Lives Matter when them people was rioting, and the way they wouldn't even put riot hats on, let alone use shields and batons against us. These are paramilitaries, and I want everyone to understand one thing: that to become a police constable now, their process isn't as it used to be. All you need to be is a British citizen, and they hand that out to anyone, and then those people there can be foreigners, in effect, as British citizens, and they are immediately armed against us. The police carry batons, gas, and firearms under their common law right. They're not licensed to do it. It's a common law right of self-defence. Yet the state is monopolising that right. And that's one of the things I'll be talking about. So I'm going to show you a bit more. You get another image of that, where they are literally smashing him.
They got one. They're pinning someone down over there.
I'll tell you what, he's doing it like on fire.
Now, I'm being straight with you. If that was me on the floor there, I'd probably already be dead. One, because I've got a heart condition. And they've placed him in a prone position. But he was standing on the side. As far as I can see, when they grabbed him, he weren't putting up any resistance. There's no, apart from trying to stop himself from falling over. It's disgusting what I've seen they're doing to people. But I believe they're doing this deliberately.
Wait, they're going to fucking kill that geezer in a minute.
Exactly that, mate. But people do need to understand that the police are not there for you. They're there for the state. They represent the state. They are British police officers. I wouldn't even describe them as constables. They are highly dangerous people, and they are given a license to do as they please. 1,995 people now have been killed in police custody. That means actually after arrest in police custody, they have been killed by the police, and nothing's ever been done since 1990. That's 1,995. So one of the things that we'll be voting on is our fee when we take court cases up, and I act as a consultant on the Constitution. The money doesn't go to me personally as such, right? It goes back in, but there is no one out there doing this. Inquest are only interested in people that are of colour. They don't represent, and we've had this before, I can tell you now. There are lots of Irish solicitors that will step into the breach, but they will only step into the breach for people of colour. Or if you are known to be extreme left wing, they will step in and help you. But other than that, there's no one backing us. Let me just make sure. My dad used to call them gangsters. They are gangsters. I've often said this to people. There is only one firm, and that is the police. They're the only people who can get away with murder. Literally. And they are very dangerous people. So when you go so again, I just want to make sure. I believe that this is being stirred up deliberately. I'm very, very, very conscious of the fact that this, even people promoting this and showing this level of violence against the people, are promoting. So there's two aspects of it. First of all, I do believe that this needs to be distributed. So in other words, you need to do this all over the country, which when I say do this, I mean protest, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of expression. They're all valid, lawful excuse, right? You need to breach. There's only 120,000 police officers all over the country, right? They bring people in from outside areas. They got caught out with this because it was a flash process, but we need to organise them all over the country. There are not only police agitators, and this happened with Peterloo in 1819. There's police agitators in the crowd. There are people, in my opinion, like Tommy Robinson, who are agitators of the crowd. I believe that they are doing. Can you all see me and hear me? There's too much open probably on the laptop and it's crashing out. But you don't like it. I'm hearing all sorts of funny noises going on here. I'm back. Was just thinking the same. What happened? Oops. Am I back again? 5p5. Good. As long as I'm still there. So I've said this a million times, and someone pointed out something to me today, which I never realised. There was someone who's been put up, and he's just done a big interview. Very strangely, he's just done an interview with Tucker Carlson. He's done an interview on Lotus Eaters. He's done an interview, but originally he was just walking along, and he'd done an interview with Willsey. Right, I forget what the guy's name is, but I have shown him on the show. But during an interview, he started talking about the common good, right? That is a very dangerous term, very dangerous term. It is the term that is littered within the Irish Republic when the Fabians rewrote their constitution. They used the term the common good, the common good, the common good. It's basically a socialist republic. So when I see someone use that term, I am very, very wary of that person because it is a specific term that was created by the Fabians. Now, all of a sudden, this guy is being promoted, highly promoted, and he's using that term. It may be a complete coincidence, but I don't think it is. Because what they're trying to do with these type of events that you're seeing, and I've shown on the screen, is they want violence. They have the monopoly, meaning the state, on violence. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get banged up. They've got 24-hour courts now. You're locked up. They're taking the patriots off the streets. And these people are being paid massive pensions to do what they're doing. It's all about the pensions. They're training in the gym every day to bash you up. That's their sole purpose, right? And as far as I can see, the only reason they are doing it is because they want conflict. And once they get conflict, they put into place martial law, and there is a specific law that I'm thinking of that they have now put through via, if I remember rightly, Tony Blair, where they can take control of the country and suspend all your rights. Never been used before, but that's what they're looking to use, right? And once they do that and they suspend all your rights and your constitutional rights and your common law rights and they force this upon us because they've got the judges in the court system to do it, they will then declare a convention parliament, in my opinion, without the king. He's already abdicated, and they will rewrite the constitution, and all of your rights will be written out of it, and it will be littered with common purpose Fabian references to the common good, which is in effect socialist republic. That's what I believe they are doing in the background. I can only take that as what I see and what I've seen. So again, I'm going to take that off and see if I can find you another angle of that. There is another angle of it, but again, we'll be talking about some of these things. I am acutely aware of how these people operate. And someone has just said that Frank Wright is a Catholic. I also see some mention today. Charlie Downs put out a thing and said Enoch Powell was right. Just to make sure I emphasise this, Enoch Powell was a Protestant. And he also referenced himself as an Englishman. So, one, he was an Englishman. Two, he was Protestant. Someone put out today on Twitter, yeah, but he was also an ethno-nationalist. I never saw him use the term ethno-nationalist. I don't know who's put that term out, but I never see him reference that. But I did see him reference England, and the fact that he was a Protestant, and if you want to call it a devout Anglican, he was not a Catholic. He liked some of the bells and whistles of the Catholic Church, but he certainly wasn't involved with the Pope, and he certainly wouldn't have been would have anything to do. It's one of the reasons why he went to Northern Ireland, because he was Protestant, and he knew them people would fight, right? And I've said this more than once. The Northern Irish are more English than the English. They understand. They was slaughtered by the Catholics in Ireland, right? And part of the major rebellion with Cromwell was in effect dealing with that. You can call it retribution, you can call it what you like. I don't want to get involved with, listen, you go and get a general to take control, you're going to get a military solution to it. And that's exactly what happened. But I will say this, that the Scottish, during the English Civil War, the Scots and the Presbyterians fought with the English against the Royalists, right? So people do need to understand that is still an issue today. Now, I prefer it, and I've said it a million times, that the Catholics and the Protestants, we're both armed, we're Christian, and we literally start to resolve this problem with these other faiths and these other cultures that are interfering with England massively. So again, someone sent me some information about Ben Yamin Havim is his name, or Habib. Listen, he declared himself one as a unionist, two as a British Pakistani, and three, he is on numerous. He just will not talk about England, right? And that's a big issue, massive issue, because you're never going to get the English, right, who are being destroyed by these external cultures, have anything to do with someone who self-declares as a British Pakistani. He was born in Pakistan. His father's Pakistani, and he was brought up in Pakistan until the age of 13. Right. In my opinion, he has just used DEI and this extreme leftly subversion of our rights and the positive discrimination towards him to make himself wealthy. We didn't get any of that. In fact, I think 3 times I've lost my job. It's either been due to there was an Irishman running a site and he didn't like the English. In another one, it was a Welshman running a site and he didn't like the English. And on the last occasion, it was because I actually stood for an English party, which was the English Democrats, and I lost my job again. So 3 times. There is massive discrimination against the English. And at the end of the day, it doesn't do us any favours. Everyone talks about the youngsters. What do you do when you get to my age? And you certainly wouldn't get a job with certainly with my social media profile. That you got no chance with these people. They hate us with a vengeance, and they're in control currently. Ray Edmonds, the weekend this weekend, be there if you can. Yeah. Again, what I'm going to try and do is put that information out there again. So the weekender, I'll be travelling up there tomorrow. Let's see if I can go and put that information on there. This is not going to be a long show tonight, but it's more going to be a chilled out one. Everyone see what just happened. That guy being beat up. I didn't see any police when Roy, was it, from Millwall, steamed into them 3 terrorists and got cut to pieces. He didn't need riot gear. He didn't need anything. He steamed into, but these people think we're scum. Here's Stalin. Let's have a look and see what else is coming up there. So he may have been samples, but he's Guy Fawkes on the right idea. Let me have a quick look and see if there's anything else coming up. Not sure what's going on there. Really? All right. There's some strange things going on out there at the moment. Anyway, any questions? Mr. and Mrs. Mablethorpe. Keep your guns, America. Jack Boo, DI, acronym die, and EID. Yeah, EID. I'll be down Friday evening and Saturday in Mablethorpe. Pork, scratchings, waiting. Who else is going to be there? New Age Templar. Ray Edmonds, Sue and I are going tomorrow. Well done. Wilnut, evening, yes. Here. Kew Gardens, I'm travelling up north tomorrow. So I'm travelling up north tomorrow. So Kew Gardens, are you coming, son? Are you coming to Mablethorpe? Or are you going up to, where was it? Makerfield. Let's have a look. Archer's not. Oh, come Saturday and Sunday. Archer's not. Well done, Archer's not. Always like seeing Archer's not. Anybody from Birmingham, West Midlands are going up to Mablethorpe tomorrow or Saturday? There probably is the answer. Hello. I'm going to show you something else as well. Up north, Jacobo. Is Lincoln regarded as up north? hoping to come over Saturday. Kenny Leeds, England, a blessings patriot. Ace Chase, really looking forward to Mablethorpe weekend. On me way tomorrow, yeah. Timbrook 2. There was something else I wanted to show you as well, which I am going to do now. I'm going to bring up a couple of things that I've put out today. And again, I've just put this out for everyone to understand it, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other bits. This one here. Right, hopefully you can see this on your screen. If not, 1,427 British soldiers are now being prosecuted by the British Crown. Veterans and currently serving, mostly special forces, for war crimes. 1,995 English and Welsh civilians, mainly white, have died in police custody since 1990, plus one, Henry Nalvat, with no consequence. The British Marxist regime and their paramilitary cowardly Red Guard, they call the police. Can you see it yet? So that is one of the things that I put out there today. Let me copy that link and send that out to everyone, because we need some of these. Now this is the one that definitely got some massive notifications. Let's have a look and see if I can find it. There's quite a few doing well on Twitter, but this one I particularly let me have a look and see if I can find where it is. Void and null. There's a couple of good people out there though that are saying what needs to be said. Let me have a look. That's the one. So I'm going to bring this one up and show you what this is. It's so far had nearly 20,000 views. I sent it out on my link earlier on today, and people are literally having a look at that and thinking, wow, right, I do need to, let's see if I can bring that up so everyone can see it. Right, Mark Novak, that's Henry's dad, actively promoted and ensured DEI doctrine, anti-white racism, as COO at large UK retailers. Imagine that. Mark promoted and trained people in the very doctrine that assisted in killing his own son. Did he live in a gated community protected from these doctrines and reality? This is why he quoted DEI in his speech. It is a mind virus. So far, that's had 19,300 views. I wanted many people to kick that out there as possible. I had a couple of comments, not many. There's lots of comments on it, I believe. 27 comments so far. But the point that people need to understand is some of these trolls started saying, you know, you shouldn't be saying things like that about his dad. And I said, well, if the truth hurts, the fact is, these people out there that are pushing these DEI narratives and actively, positively discriminating against white people, pushing that into every element of people's lives, they are all individually responsible for the murder of Henry. And so is the state. It's like the dad of the kid who killed at Primrose Hill a few months ago. Similar sentiment. I used to live in Primrose Hill Road. It was never like that. And there's people saying, like, I didn't know that. European Advocacy Group. It just goes to show how thoroughly indoctrinated and ideologically captured these strange people are. That even when the very doctrine you rabidly promoted gets your own son killed, you still promote it, made even worse by the fact that we know he's aware that two-tier played a part. And then you've got another element to that, which is my reply to that comment. It is a mind virus mind virus, psychological reframing, Bolshevik style. Think COVID, right? So what do I mean by that? What they did with COVID was the same thing. Psychological reframing. It's a mind virus that that's how they controlled people. Same thing, same mind virus. It's just they used a different tactic for it, but it's the same mind virus. Think Remainers, so same mind virus techniques. So when you think about these Remainers, and especially British, the British is a mind virus, no different to COVID, no different to DEI. The British thinking and conning people, and this illusion that they've created that you're British when you're not. Think British. Harry Pitt, I've put that out to, and History Bro, which is Bo Dade, right, from Lotus Eaters. This is organised mass psychosis. Does everyone agree with that statement? You've just heard me say it on there. That's what I've said. It's organised mass psychosis. Some people don't like the truth. I hate EDI and all of that rubbish, but this is an unnecessary post at this time. We need to stop this rot, but you don't need to make it about a dead boy's father. That's just pointlessly cruel. It's about the mind virus. He is a party to it. The truth is painful, but these people have no conscience. They'd kill their own kids for that mind virus. They would kill their own kids through being that they're not intelligent enough. And again, his father was not, I repeat, not English, right? So deport them. Hopefully we'll take these normies out. And there was lots of positive questions. And there's some careful, Graham, you will get the same response that those who called out Charlie Kirk's widow. They will attack anyone who goes against the accepted narrative. Exactly. When it's not an accepted narrative, this is literally what killed that kid, right? So he was human trash and indirectly killed his son. Yeah, he did indirectly killed his son. Take the knee for Henry. There you go. Right. So, yeah, no, I agree. It is a terrible wake-up call for people, but that is what we're talking about. That is exactly what happened. Right, so I've just put that out there for anyone who wants to go and send that out there. And again, I'll put something else out there for Rupert Lowe in response to something else. Can't remember what it was a response to, but Rupert, anyone with British nationality being foreign can join the police and be instantly armed and weaponised against the English. We were once constitutionally protected against this. The British are the problem, not Britons. British, right? So everyone should understand that that is part of their weaponisation, and they are actively using all of the institutions of the state against the English, in particularly the English. This is called the Full English Show for a reason. We've got very nearly, again, don't forget to subscribe. It's really important. Don't forget to share. It's really important. Don't forget to come to the Weekender seminar because it's going to be some important stuff there and everyone can know each other and speak to each other. But sharing is caring. We're the only group of people doing it. YouTube's no good. I mean, when you think, and again, time and time again this happens, right? People wave the English flag and tell you they're English. They're not. I said this last night. I've seen plenty of people with, tattoos on their arm with England and their football, like whatever. You know what I mean? It's not about football. It's about England, right? I'm seeing some good people come out, and there are good people that are part of us that are getting involved with Restore Britain to say we want to restore England and the English Constitution. They have started to listen, by the way. There's a couple of people I could mention, but one of the people that has continually not conned us, that states he's English and he means it, has never retracted from that to get clicks, right? And that's Andy the Gabby Cabby. And to a large extent, so was Chris from was it KSB Studios. There are many others that have assisted in getting the message out about England. And we've got to keep doing that. England is not just about St George's Day, and it certainly isn't about a football team. If anyone looked at the football team, it ain't English. You tell me if the current football team looks like anything like in 1966 when we won the World Cup. Anyone agree with that? How about Arsenal Football Club or Tottenham Football Club? Or even, I see a game the other day by accident, some time ago, I was standing in a pub and I'm sure it was Bolton. And most of the players were black. I was like, how was that Bolton? Right? And the same goes for the whole, they anything to do with the working class, they have destroyed it. But who am I? Merlin. Andy sent a letter to Rupert. Love, he posted it on X for us to see. Yeah, no, I've seen the letter. Do you want me to read out the letter again? I thought I read it out. But I'll see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find Andy the Gabby Cabby. So again, Andy, he's not one of them people, and there are many of them, that wave the English flag, draw people in and con them. That's the thing I'm worried about with Restore. The English have been, and there is no more chances. I've got to be honest with you. People keep saying we're running out of time. We haven't run out of time. We ain't running out of time. We've run out of time. That's it. It's all over unless people actually stand up. And unless they're going to actually stand up for England, we're pretty much slaughtered, and we will be slaughtered. So, but this was pinned. Let me read it to you and send it out to you so everyone can see it. I'm not sure if you see this, but I thought this was a fantastic letter. This is pinned on Andy the Gabby's cabbies. So on the 14th of May, I wrote a letter to Rupert Lowe regarding concerns about England and the direction of the country and what Restore Britain sees as policy when it comes to England. 10 days ago, I said if I had not received a reply to this letter, I would put it in the public domain so people could see what's going on. I've obviously taken all the address info out, but here is the letter for you. Now, he sent it to his personal home address, and there was a reason why he did that. There's certain things that I don't like doing, but when it's the leader of a political party, it's not just about his constituency office and sending stuff to his constituency. You're talking to him as the leader of the political party, and you're trying to get you want to speak directly to that person because it is him that has the strategy for the party as such, right? And I get that why he's done that, but here it is. So he's took out his home address and he's published the exact letter that he sent. Dear Mr. and this was on the 14th of May 2026. Dear Mr. Lowe, I wanted to write to you regarding Restore Britain because, like many people, I've been following what you've been saying with interest. A lot of people you talk about resonates. A lot of what you talk about resonates with ordinary people who feel politically homeless and increasingly ignored by Westminster. That said, there are some concerns I have, which I hope you'll take in the spirit they're intended. And please forgive me for sending it to your residents, as I merely wished to communicate with you outside the remit of parliamentary ruling on constituent communications, right? So I'll just explain that to you. One of the biggest issues for me is the complete lack of recognition England seems to receive politically within the United Kingdom itself. Scotland has had referendums, devolved powers, constant political attention, and parties like the SNP openly pushing a hard left agenda, which inevitably has financial and constitutional consequences for the rest of the UK, particularly England. which ultimately ends up carrying most of the burden. In other words, we pay for their extreme left socialist ways. Yet England itself never seems to be allowed to a real conversation about its own future. We constantly hear politicians talk about Britain or British values or British citizens, but very rarely do they acknowledge the English specifically as a people with their own identity, interests, history, and democratic concerns. That's something I've noticed with Restore Britain as well. The language used often refers broadly to British people, but under modern nationality law, that term can mean many different things legally and politically. Personally, I think political movements need to start being more honest and precise when talking about uh, the English, Scottish, Welsh, and Irish peoples individually instead of constantly folding everything into a broad British identity, which often seems to erase England altogether. I've also heard you speak previously in favour of the Union, and that raises questions for people like myself who increasingly feel the current Westminster system and union structure may actually be part of the problem rather than the answer. To be blunt, many English people feel politically trapped, expected to fund everything, expected not to question anything, and expected not even to openly discuss England's constitutional future without immediately being dismissed or ignored or called a racist. Meanwhile, Scotland can openly debate independence for years on end without the same stigma attached to it. So I suppose my main questions are these. Does Restore Britain generally recognise England as a nation with its own constitutional interests? Would the movement support England having the same democratic rights to constitutional discussion and possible referendums that other parts of the UK have had? Or is the intention ultimately to preserve the existing union and Westminster power structure more or less as it is, which is the reason why I left the English Democrats? I'll also be honest and say there are concerns online about who really controls the direction of Restore Britain behind the scenes and how decisions are made internally. In today's political climate, people are naturally cautious about movements appearing grassroots publicly or being tightly controlled privately. I think many people simply want transparency, honesty, and a serious acknowledgement that England exists as more than just the administrative engine room of the UK. I genuinely appreciate your thoughts. Kind regards. And then it ends there. Right. So stop sharing that. What did you think of that letter? That was Andy, the Gabby Cabby, a normal everyday working man. His father was in military police, then left the police and become a police constable, etc. So Andy is just a normal everyday working cab driver, right? But understands that the English are the ones who are being put upon. I'm seeing lots of English flags. Well done, Andy, the Gabby Cabby. No, just don't want to hear it from people who would do it. No, UK without England. Yeah, but the problem is the British have absorbed and devoured England, and they're doing it with regionalisation as we speak. I keep saying to people, we need to get London back, and the way you do that is to take out British Nationality Act has got to go, right? And so has the Assembly of London, and we want Middlesex back, right? It's just not cricket anymore, is it, without Middlesex? So there's plenty of people that actually respect what I'm saying and can see it when you start pointing it out to them. But again, it's been most of what we're talking about has been done by stealth. And I did want to show you something else tonight as well. And I wonder if Andy the Gabby Cabby's out there watching at the moment. Andy the Gabby Cabby, are you out there watching at the moment? But again, we've got to keep putting out there and getting our message across. They are extremely dangerous in some of the things that they're doing in relation to not talking about the English. But what I'm seeing are more and more people, literally, they don't seem to be responding too well. Although we've got quite a few people that are in the groups and talking to people. So they are, and by the way, there is a particular person, actually there's two people, that have started to talk about England in the upper circles of Restore Britain. Lucy White, I think, is one of them, and who's the other one? Charlie Downs, because he said most of the rapes of young English were exclusively white English working class girls, and he also earlier on said it was predominantly, and he is understanding there is a difference between English, Scottish, Welsh, and Irish, right? Lucy White is another one. There's a few others. All I'm saying is that you need to be genuinely concerned for England, right, and not being one of these people that just waves the English flag, got a tattoo on your arm saying England, and really you ain't got a cuckoo at what they're doing. And the only group of people out there, remember why I left the English Democrats? Because they wasn't. They just wanted to take a British Parliament and stick an English flag on it, and said that ain't what I want. That's not. We need to go back to the England and being English, right, and putting everything in place to do that. And there's quite a bit there that needs to be done. Andy the Gabby Cabby is doing a great job for the English Jarl. Yeah, no, he is. And again, if you're not registered or you're not subscribed to Andy the Gabby Cabby, I mean, hopefully after this convention, I'll go on there and do a live, and we'll have a chat about a few things, and then discuss in depth Restore Britain, because it looks like it to me it looks like it's being hijacked by the unionists, and what got us in this problem were the unionists, and that's never going to be a good idea. But if the lead strategist is Rupert Lowe, and he is a unionist, and he's not going to look outside of the box to what's actually caused the problem, and causing the problem, what I mean is bringing Roman law into England is a cancer to England, and the only way you can stop that is go back to a common law union, not a statutory union. And remember, the reason why the union existed in the first place is because Scotland had tried to muscle in on the routes, or as Americans say, routes and resources of the Darien Gap in South America that basically connected two oceans. The Dutch and the English controlled it. Two massive campaigns by the Scots to try and get their bit of control bankrupted them. And it was nothing to do with the Highlanders. It was the Lowlanders. And they completely and utterly bankrupted. What they should have done is just allow them to be bankrupted, because they caused the problem themselves. Instead, what they did was brought them into England and the English Parliament. And if I remember rightly, and I don't know if this is absolute, trying to do it by memory, but when Cromwell shut down the Scottish Parliament, and there were 30 representatives of Scotland in the basically the English Parliament. So they was represented by 30 representatives. If I remember rightly, they had 20. I think it was 20 Shire MPs and 10 Borough MPs or Borough MPs. So they'd 30 in total. Now they are massively overrepresented in that Parliament, and that's part of what's causing the problem. So are the Welsh, because they can still get representatives in the British Parliament. So if they take a Scot that lives in, like George Galloway, for example, or even Keir Hardie, they take a Scot out of Scotland, put him in England, and say, "Well, you understand, but you're still representing in Scotland." So all of a sudden, you start getting this expansion of Scottish interest, or Welsh interest, or Irish interest, right? And that's what we've got. But there are no English MPs. The English have no representation in that Parliament whatsoever. None, zero, nada. And that's a big problem. He'll study that for starters. Cheers. It's amazing to have this level of knowledge. I have trouble remembering what the hell I'm doing from day to day, let alone the country's history. Yeah, but sometimes I have to drag it back from the back of my mind. And Cromwell was a really, really interesting part of history. And remember, Cromwell was a military leader. He didn't really want to get involved with politics. He was just so corrupt. He had to, and he didn't. And this is the thing. He didn't just sort out Parliament. He sorted out the judiciary, right? They was corrupt to the core. They was keeping the fees coming in. They was creating cases just to get the fees, and they was pocketing the money. At that time, they was speaking Latin in courts, and he literally stood up and said, "This is England. You speak English," right? And he stopped foreign languages being spoken in their courts. Now imagine what they're doing with all this translation stuff they've got going on, and they're paying for translators, and they're doing this in court. No. You speak English in our courts. Any other questions? Anyone got any questions before we do anything else? Because I'm going to see if I can get my head down and get ready to go. Let's have a quick look. I'm taking some of my tablets and all my medication. I'll take some more eye drops tonight. Saxon Cocktail, how you doing, son? Let me have a look. Do search English Constitution. There's a few. Yeah, and one of the things we've got to do is get our website properly sorted out. Mr. Seventh for you or the truck. Englander, how on earth do we allow this situation to happen? No English. That they are getting one thing right. They're saying it went seriously pear-shaped. It's been pear-shaped from the 1800s, if I'm honest. But it accelerated after the Second World War because we lost to the Soviets. We sided with the wrong enemy. There were two enemies, and they are two enemies. One was the Nazis, and the other one was the Soviets. And they chose to side with the Soviets only because they knew they could win. They didn't want to side with the Nazis and lose against the Soviets. So they sided with the Soviets. But if I'm honest with you, the Bolsheviks then, and I've got a book here that tells you a lot about it, which I won't go into now, but there's a lot of that information in Spy Hunter. But they massively infiltrated. They was already here, same as the Nazi was. You've got to look at what the Bolsheviks were doing and what technically the Nazis were doing in relation to Sir Oswald Mosley. So the same situation was happening. And when you see the pitch battle in Cable Street between the black shirts or the brown shirts, whatever they called them, and the other group of people who were mainly Jews, that was communists fighting Nazis in London. Why are Scots and Welsh allowed to represent English constitution? It beggars belief is the answer. That's one of my concerns. It's a genuine concern because they have an allegiance to Scotland. They have an allegiance. It's a bit like Mike Graham. I said to him, you should be proud of Scotland. But let's say he lives in Essex. He sounds like an Englishman. He regards himself as Scottish, right? He should be proud of that. I ain't got a problem with that, right? But if I tried to stand in Scotland as an Englishman, they wouldn't elect me. If I was to try and stand, and because I'm English, they won't elect me. Like the British won't elect an Englishman. You stand up and say I'm English, the British will shut you down completely, and that is what they do. And the media is part of that. Right, anything else? I won't be giving anybody that bridge anytime soon. What's that one? Up. Anyone else out there? So don't forget, sharing is caring. Don't forget, we've got the weekend out, so I'll be there tomorrow night, but just for a beer and listening, hopefully, to a bit of music and a comedian. And then we've got an early start on Saturday, or reasonably early start on Sunday. And then we'll be going through it all. That's it. Good night. God bless. Let me have a quick look. DJ, I sent you email. Where did you send the email to? Jack Boo. Where did you send the email? I'll be looking for the reply as I sign off. So good night. God bless. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. Tonight's just been a chin wag, and I've shown you a few things. The only group of people that stand up for England are us. There is no one else. We're only about England. We don't tell lies to people. We don't pretend. We're not a bunch of unionists in disguise. We actually stand up for England. Merlin. Let's have a look and see if he's come up. So I'm still waiting for the thing that come up. Let's see if he actually sends me anything back. Patriots, see you in Mablethorpe tomorrow. Being well. Yeah, hopefully. Right. Good night. God bless.